Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Fayetteville, or as I like to call it, WTF. Just because I think it's funny and catchy, right?
Right.
But today I've got Chet Mann, the man, with Guild Mortgage here with me. Thanks for coming on and joining me.
Thanks for
I
having me,
appreciate
Ricky.
it.
It's always great to be here. We're always excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you work with Guild Mortgage, and I'm sure anybody who's watched my podcast. We've talked about it. Me and Joshua have. We're very excited to have this partnership together with you and Guild Mortgage, and just really excited for what the future holds for ERA and for Guild Mortgage. And we appreciate you bringing your team in, and JR is awesome. We love him.
Good.
We got a bunch of great reviews from some of our agents who have worked with him a bunch in the past.
Right.
So we're very excited to have both of you.
He's sort of a known quotient around here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about Guild Mortgage. I see we got some swag up here.
Yeah.
So obviously you do home loans, but give us a little background on the company.
Well, this is a great story, and thank you for the intro, Ricky. We're excited to be with you all too. Growing up in this area, in the last 20 years, maybe longer than that, ERA Strother has been a name that everybody knows, and so we were really happy to partner up or have this alliance with you all, and Premier and Premier, we kind of like that.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to good things too, because I think that your company and our company can make things happen for customers. But Guild has been a really interesting success story. It was one of those overnight successes that started in 1960.
Really?
So they're one of the oldest, Guild's one of the oldest mortgage companies in the United States. And most of the mortgage companies you're familiar with today started somewhere in the 90s.
Yeah.
And so, they had a 30-year start on everybody. They were the Builders Guild of San Diego. They started as a mortgage company for a builder in San Diego. They're still headquartered there today, but they have grown so smartly. I was at a very good situation at a different company, and I never thought I would leave it. But they wanted some leadership and some growth in the central North Carolina area. And I got to know more about them, and I really did like it. So now we operate in 49 states except for New York. That's a whole long story, but
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. But it's been a really neat evolution of a great company. Guild Mortgage is now a top 10. I think we're the 7th or 6th largest independent mortgage company in the United States. And if you've looked over the last 10 or 15 years, it used to be mortgages were, 75% done by banks, 25% done by independents. And in the last 15 years, that has completely shifted. So now it's like 80% independent mortgage companies and 20% banks. And they have really been smart. So one of the things that I think has made Guild really successful is they've held on to their roots. They've been run by, CEO'd by two ladies. One retired 2 years ago after 40 years at the helm.
Oh, wow.
And Terry Schmidt, our CEO today, she is top 10 woman in the industry, always high reviews. Started basically as an intern or in the mailroom, basically worked her all the way up to CEO. They've got a great culture going at Guild, and so they treat us all very well. About 5,000 employees, but we act small, and we kind of empower our local leaders to do what makes sense in our community, which is one of the things that kind of was interesting to me. But they're 90% privately owned, 10% publicly owned. So there's a Guild stock out there. And that brings in a revenue stream that most other lenders don't have, especially during hard times.
Right.
And so we do the retail lending. This is what you and I are familiar with, a residential mortgage. But we also do wholesale and correspondence. So we sell our rates to other companies, and we have wholesale channels that we broker to.
Okay.
And in that process, we also service our loans. So we service about 85% of what we sell. So basically, if you close with us, you get your bill from us.
Right.
And that revenue stream is now up to about $100 billion a year.
Wow.
And so while other companies have really struggled or gone out of business or suffer, quality levels drop, when rates have gotten so high, all the turmoil the industry has seen, we continue to acquire and grow because we've got kind of a three-legged stool, which brings in revenue streams. So our savings account is growing while everybody else is having to live off theirs. And if you're a mortgage company and you didn't have a very big savings account and the volume dropped and the spreads got really small as rates got higher, you find yourself going out of business.
Wow.
So Guild is the exact opposite of that. Extremely financially well capitalized, really care about their people, and that kind of their people then take care of the customer. And so we've just grown in a good way. Not too big, not too fast, but just really had a good run the last few years. And I think the best years for Guild are way ahead of them.
Yeah. And how long have you been doing mortgage lending?
Gosh, Ricky, 16 years now.
Okay.
It seems like a long time, but it was like I feel like I just got in the business.
Yeah.
It happened so fast.
Yeah, well, and one of the things you touched on too, and I wanted to segue over to ask you about this, but you were talking about leadership and, Guild looking for leadership and leadership in the Central North Carolina area.
Yeah.
You're no stranger to leadership in the Central North Carolina area. You were mayor of Sanford, correct?
Yeah. I was mayor for since COVID. They didn't have the census on time, so I was actually mayor for 9 years instead of 8.
Wow.
Two terms plus almost a year. And I come from a family of community service people. So my grandfather was mayor in the 60s of Sanford, and my dad has been involved in everything but elected positions. So I've served on the Chamber of Commerce. We're kind of like you. I've been involved in so many nonprofits and boards, and I don't know. I've always been a Boy Scout. We always believe in giving back more than we take, from the woodpile. Yeah. So I really enjoyed my tenure as mayor. We really grew well and had a great kind of a rebound, if you will, the 9 years that I was there. I had a lot of people that helped, and got to know a lot of people here too, and I got to know a lot of your leadership in Fayetteville. So it's a small world in North Carolina in politics. And,
it is.
But it really kind of, helped me grow my business too, because I learned so much about land development and building and just how everything works that eventually becomes sometimes a residential sale. Yeah. But I never knew there was so much to know about permitting and inspections and land development and all. So, I loved it, but I had to make a choice. They both became full-time jobs. Oh, yeah. And the mayor's job was my passion, but it wasn't my career. Right. So I never really thought I'd run too long anyway. So 2 terms, we got it all done. We did everything that I planned to do in 6 years, really. I had a 12-year plan, and we did it all with the help of a good city council in about 6 or 7 years. Achieved our whole agenda. Yeah. So I felt like I could leave on a high. Yeah. Well, and I mean, you had sounds like you had a good team behind you with the city council and all the help there. Yeah. And from what I've seen, you've got a great team at Guild Mortgage as well. We really do. Similar to us, I'm broker in charge here, but I'm nothing without my team and the agents around me, and I think we've got some of the best between our Fayetteville office and our Sanford office. Been very impressed with your support team. Yeah, and how everybody pulls together and everybody knows their role, and you guys seem to just mesh. And I've not felt any conflicts or fiefdom problems or anything like that. Right. You guys seem to work well together, and you can feel it when you walk into a place. Oh yeah, and culture and atmosphere is huge for anywhere. Absolutely. I mean, you don't want to go somewhere and just have that negative energy surrounding. You want people to be uplifting and upbeat and positive, and it makes my job easier. I'm sure it makes your job easier. Leadership is all about helping people win. And making them feel like they're part of it. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard, but it's definitely a skill set, and you have to have great people around you. So we are fortunate in Guild. Our team is out of the Southeast region, and we're based out of Columbia, South Carolina, headquartered in San Diego. But all of our operations, all of our people that we work with here in Fayetteville, Sanford region, is out of Columbia, South Carolina. And the leadership team there is phenomenal. Yeah. And part of the reason why we made a career decision to move our whole team over. Yeah. So local people who know the area, I'm sure you've got appraisers and agents, and if I needed to call you to make something happen, I'm sure you can get on the phone and make something happen. I don't have to make but one call. Yeah. Usually maybe 2. And some companies you might have to make 10 calls and wait 3-4 days. Yeah. But we have instant call. In fact, we can do it on a video phone call. Yeah. But you bring point up that a lot of people don't, that maybe people take for granted. But the way you do real estate in Fayetteville and in central North Carolina, southeastern North Carolina, it's going to be different than
Oh,
the way you
it's
do
so
real estate
different.
in Michigan
Yeah.
or Florida. And when people in Columbia, South Carolina, is a 3-hour drive, 2.5 drive
Yeah.
from here. I mean, their VA loans and their USDA loans and their customers are very similar to ours. Except, of course, in Fayetteville, we're the largest VA place in the country, probably.
Right, right.
But they still get that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, they got Fort Jackson right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right next to
Oh,
Columbia.
yeah. They're very familiar
So,
with all that. So,
yeah.
that was another thing that customers need to understand, and other realtors need to understand, that if your underwriting teams and the people above you don't get your market, then you're going to have delays and issues and problems sometimes.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
It's been great.
So I know I've worked with some of the online mortgage companies. I won't name drop any, and I've even
Good
worked with
segue.
some of I've worked with some of the popular big bank, on
Sure.
mortgages, and it's so different when you're having to call a 1-800 number, and you're getting somebody, and you get somebody different every time, and this person's got this test, this person's got this test. They're not communicating. They're in several states away from each other, and if they don't put it right into their system, their notes.
Well, I'll tell you, Ricky. And I'll say this. I'll use the word like the Zillows of the world.
Okay,
And there's several.
Yeah.
They're trying to commoditize what you do as a realtor, and there are a lot of these financial, these internet banks.
Yes.
That are trying to commoditize what mortgage does. And I have come to the conclusion, no matter how hard they have tried, it just doesn't work. It's about people doing people. So if you're with a company, you might not run into somebody in the grocery store.
Right.
You may or may not get that deal done.
Yeah.
And then there's not going to be any emotional connection whatsoever. It's just really difficult to commoditize our industry because it takes people to help people get into a home.
Oh yeah. I mean, especially with getting into homes and the purchase of a home, that's a big deal.
It's usually the biggest deal in most people's life.
Yeah, I'm going to say I don't know how many $350,000 deals I'm going to do in my life other than a home.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's the case for many people. I mean, unless you got Elon's money, but not a lot of people have that.
Most
Tesla
of us aren't
money.
in there. That's exactly right.
No.
And I don't really want his stress level.
Oh gosh, no, absolutely not. Now he's trying to go to space and everything else, and then
and help the president.
Yeah, I just saw that he's on one of the committees or something. So it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of the few people that really don't need a mortgage and can pay cash for everything.
Right.
Most of us can't.
Right. Yeah. So if y'all are looking for a mortgage, if you're in the market to purchase a home, definitely give Chet a call. We're gonna put his information down at the bottom of the screen here for you to be able to reach out to him and his team. Team Chet over at Guild Mortgage. They're excellent people. They work amazing with their clients and with the agents. So it's that brings me to working together, with the lenders, the agents, the attorneys. It's really a team effort to get the deal done.
Yeah.
That's like people think that, real estate agents, we're just a smiling face that opens doors. But, all the paperwork we're doing, all the email communication, all the trying to make sure, we're reaching out to the lenders, we're reaching out to the attorneys, we're reaching, trying to make sure everything falls into place. And y'all are doing the same on your end.
We are. It's, and I tell my team this all the time, but the most successful producers are the ones that have the best process.
Yeah.
And we really are kind of proud of our loan process and your real estate process. We did a presentation about when this NAR settlement thing came down.
Oh, yeah.
We did a study, and like the average realtor can do up to like 130 different things behind the scenes in a 30-day period of closing a home.
Yeah.
130. And some, depending on some deals, 186 different steps. We actually measured it, flowcharted it. And, the top producers in our industry, the ones that do the most, the $100 million a year solid producers, that's a big deal in our industry to do $100 million. They have the most boring, mundane process.
But it works.
Every single time. And we treat everybody the same. That process never changes. And so, some people try to push back against the process and kind of create their own rules, and it's not going to work. It's going to slow it down when the customer doesn't want to play the game. But when they buy into the process and we explain it up front, it really does make a great partnership because you guys have a great process and your team has a great understanding of that process, and I believe ours does too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's consistency is the key.
It's consistency. There. It's a brand. It's the way it works. There's a step. We don't go from A to D.
Right.
We go A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And close on time as promised.
Yeah, but along with that consistency, I mean, you can't do the same thing over and over again and keep failing.
We're always improving. We're always tweaking things, right?
Yeah. But once you find a good process, just maintaining that consistency.
Well, I think what's important for your customers to know, our mutual customers know, is that there is a big process and there is a lot of things that we're doing that you never will know or see, and we don't want you to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it, but it's a process. So who you're with matters.
Mm-hmm.
It matters a lot.
It does.
Especially if things aren't perfect.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if they get with somebody like a Guild Mortgage, somebody local, then they're, you're able to kind of take that step back away sometimes from the, this is a business. It's all about the money.
Right.
And realize it's not always all about the money. It's about the client. Yeah. It's about doing what we can.
It's about helping
as
people.
An agent or as a lender.
Helping people, the money will follow.
Exactly. And that's the goal at the end of the day.
And that's what y'all are good at doing as well.
Yeah. Well, Chet, man, I greatly appreciate you coming in and joining us again. We're going to put his information here on the screen.
Good.
And y'all give Chet a call. He's got an amazing team, like I said before, and they take great care of you. They've got all kinds of non-conventional loan programs as well.
Yeah.
So don't think that you don't qualify for a loan. Just give them a call because they've got some really amazing products. I mean, y'all even do single-wide trailers, correct?
We do single-wide trailers to jumbo loans and everything in between.
Yeah.
And, we call it loan ready. And if you're not sure if you're loan ready or not, call us. We'll help you become loan ready. And then we'll send you back to one of Ricky's team and get you into a new home.
All right. Chet, I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.
I enjoyed it.
All right. Well, y'all have a great day. Thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned for more. I think on the next episode here, we're going to have a representative from Dream Finders Homes, a big local builder. And we're very excited to hear about that and some of the new communities they have coming up in the Fayetteville area. So we'll talk about that more with him. We'll see y'all on the next one.